I think there should be more action. Germany has some great car companies, like some of the greatest car companies in the world, and amazing engineering ability. But particularly with respect to electrical and mechanical engineering, I think also chemical engineering, Germany is probably the leader in the world. So there's an enormous amount of engineering talent that I think could be put towards electric cars, and really should be. And I think it's just a question of making the leap and making it a mainstream initiative instead of a side initiative. It needs to be a mainstream program, not sort of the A team. The A team needs to work on it. That's a really important thing, and I think the government can certainly help by saying that, emphasizing that this is important. It's something that should be done. So I think if the A team at any of the big German car makers work on electric cars, it'll be a great outcome.
Elon Musk has been eyeing Germany as maybe the most suitable location for his company Tesla's European Gigafactory for a long time. Musk thinks that Germany has great potential when it comes to car making because of its exceptional engineering capabilities. Particularly when it comes to the fields of mechanical and electrical engineering, Germany is one of the absolute best in the world. While talking alongside the German Minister of Economy and Energy at the Economy for Tomorrow conference in Berlin, the CEO of the world's most valuable car company expressed his views that it is only a matter of utilizing those engineering capabilities and directing them towards the making of electric cars.
I guess there's a lot of things in the world today that are happening that are important and that deserve our attention. But I think it's always important to say what is going to be what's important in the long term. What are the actions that, if we don't take them today, will result in quite a terrible future? And I think today's refugee problem or challenge is perhaps a small indication of what the future will be like if we do not take action with respect to climate change. So, today the challenge is in terms of millions of people, but in the future, based on what the scientific consensus is, that the problem will be in hundreds of millions and much more severe. So I think it's very important that we take action today to recognize that we are making a very significant change to the chemical constituency of the atmosphere and the oceans, and one that is almost impossible to reverse. I think when we look back on these days in the future, we want to be able to say that we did the actions that were right, the actions that were important, because I think it's very difficult to say, if you go, say, 20, 30, 40 years in the future, what do you say to your kids or your grandkids? It's not as though, it's like the scientists all say that these bad things are going to happen. It's like 97%. So say, well, to your grandkids, your kids, well, did nobody tell you? No, it's like, no, everyone was telling us. Okay, so why didn't you do anything? What's the answer? I think it's very important that we do something. There's things in the news like, the nitrous oxide thing with VW, and obviously that's bad. But it's the CO2 thing is really the thing what we should be most concerned about. And if you look at, say, what is necessary for a sustainable future, actually, in one respect, a very important respect, Germany is a huge leader, which is in solar power generation. Germany is by far the best in the world when it comes to solar power. I think even in terms of in absolute terms, but certainly in solar power per capita, by far the best. And wherever I go in the world, I say, hey, Germany is a great example for solar power generation. And I think people in Germany should be really proud of that. That's a great thing that you've done. But it needs to be paired with sustainable consumption of energy on the transportation side. So that hopefully is something that will change, in the near future. But whereas Germany is really great on sustainable power generation, it's not so much on the sustainable power consumption, because transport is still very much petrol and diesel. So hopefully that's something that changed. So I think that's the most important thing that can be done for climate, and Germany could be a great example in this regard. So that's my hope on that front. Let's see. And then stationary storage, battery packs, are also something that's important, because you need sustainable power generation, sustainable power storage, because of the intermittent nature of renewable energy, and then combine that with electric vehicles. So, Tesla, we're developing stationary storage with the Powerwall power pack, and we think actually Germany is a very important market for that. In fact, outside of the US, Germany first of all, and then Australia are our top priorities. So I think that will hopefully be helpful.
Musk is all in favor of sustainable energy. He thinks global warming and climate change need to be the most important challenge that we are faced with today. And so, it is the utmost need of the hour to realize the gravity of the issue. Musk praises Germany's solar power industry, considering it's an important step towards a sustainable economy in the future. But he believes that it is not just sustainable production that is important, sustainable consumption is too. And while Germany may lead the world in sustainable power production, it needs to change its approach towards energy consumption, especially with regards to transport, and take on more sustainable energy sources for its transport sector. Let's move on to his next interview, where he talks about Germany as a country and his decision to choose Germany as the site for his gigafactory.
Exactly a year ago, you were announcing in this very building that you're planning to build a new site near Berlin.
Yeah.
And a couple of months later, in June, you started. You want to finish it by July next year. We did a little tour this morning. It's impressive how advanced it is, and it's almost unbelievable. Germany, and particularly Berlin, is not world famous for finishing construction sites in time and in budget. So you've created a kind of anti-Berlin airport project. Why Berlin? Why did you go to Germany and to Berlin to get that big project done?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm actually a big fan of Germany. I love Germany. It's great. I have a lot of friends, German friends, and I think Berlin is a very fun city, and I think there's also, from a location standpoint, people like, say, young people can live in apartments at a reasonable price in the city of Berlin, but if somebody's got a family, they can still have an affordable house. So it's a good location, offering good living for people of all ages and incomes, and
Berlin mayor once said Berlin is poor but sexy. Is that what attracted you?
Berlin's not that poor, but it's definitely sexy.
Could you imagine to spend...
so we're going to have, when we open the... you're all invited, by the way. When we have the opening for Giga Berlin, we're going to have just a big party. We're going to have, start off on the day, have more sort of family music, and then gradually get more hardcore, and then go, midnight techno till dawn.
Do you plan to spend more time in Berlin yourself? You want to partly live here?
Yes, I'll be spending a lot of time here.
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel?
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight?
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
When asked why he chose Berlin as the site for his plant in Europe, considering that Germany is not very renowned in the construction sector for finishing projects within the due time and budget, Musk answered that he believes Germany is a great country. It offers great and affordable housing opportunities for its people and is a great country to live in. He even might consider living in Berlin.